I ran a team of over 65 people and generated over $149 million selling digital offers. We had people in every position, from salesmen, marketers, film teams, editors for both long and short form content, designers, developers, copywriters, you name it. All of us worked fully remotely from our computers, and 99% of our communication was purely through texting and Telegram chats. That's right, we rarely ever called, and most of us only met up in person a few times per year. Now, don't let these numbers and facts impress you, because even though our entire team performed all of their tasks flawlessly and morale was excellent throughout our entire operation, we still decided to cut our team down to less than 40 people, because anything more than that is simply redundant and brings you diminishing returns. We understood that elite special forces, teams of A players only, were much more efficient and effective than scaling to a larger operation just for the sake of it. Now, yes, if you're going to be running multiple companies, you will probably need more employees than that. But most of you watching this video only need to learn how to scale one online company to 8 figures and beyond. That's over $10 million per year, which is frankly great money for anyone. And depending on how far you push it, you can do even more. At the Corporate operation, we scaled past 9 figures running our elite special forces team of A players. And if you don't know who I am yet, my name is Eli Pampa. I am the former head of sales and marketing at Corporate from 2021 to 2023. Yes, during Tate's peak virality and profitability in 2022. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the most important tactics, mindsets, and frameworks that you can implement for yourself to build your own team of A players to scale your operation to 8 figures and beyond. First of all, to make things very clear, I'm not going to show you how to run a complicated corporate system with C-suite, human resources, and intricate management levels, and I'm not showing you how to run a software company, a brick and mortar business, or an e-commerce business. I'm only promising to show you the best way to run an online business with selling digital offers such as consulting, infoproducts, mentorship, courses, communities, coaching, digital products, low ticket offers, and high ticket offers. That's it. So with that clear, let's take a look at what's required to even build your own team of A players fully remotely in the first place. So why would you work with A players in the first place? Well, obviously they're better than just regular workers. We're not calling them C players, they're A players for a reason. They work harder, are smarter, have more skills, and in general are ultra capable and competent. One A player will produce more results for your operation than 10 C players, and without all of the headaches that come from dealing with anyone less than absolutely professional. Headaches such as having to deal with mistakes, egos, and lack of work ethic. A players do not suffer from these problems. They just get things done to a very high standard. They don't need babysitting, and having a team of A players was in fact the biggest reason we were able to communicate 99% through text on Telegram chats while rarely calling. Because A players understand that this is more efficient communication. We can't be waiting to schedule calls or have team meetings to solve problems. Problems need to get solved instantly or as soon as possible. So for all of these reasons, you can have a team of less A players and produce more results, while also fundamentally operating in a more efficient way, because with less people, there is more cohesion in communication, messages reach people faster, decisions are taken quicker, and ultimately more is done faster. This is why in the military, when they need to get important shit done fast, they call them the special forces, elite SEAL teams of ultra competent individuals working together as professionals to get the objective completed at any cost. This is the goal with building your team of A players, and I will show you now how to do it. So how do you hire and create the A players? Well, first of all, in order to attract other A players, you must be an A player yourself. Leaders lead from the front and set the example for everyone else. So you've got to ask yourself, have I been able to produce exceptional results in my career so far? Genuinely. Nobody's born an A player, they are created. So if you can honestly take stock of your situation and understand that you are not yet an A player, that's fine. You can develop yourself into one over time. But then you also cannot expect to instantly build a team of A players because you're not yet one yourself. Now, let's say that you're an A player already. Who do you hire and how do you hire them? Who you hire is probably less people than you think. Here are the only A players you actually need on your team. Yourself, obviously, or somebody else as the front-facing person on camera. A head of marketing, handling all copy, funnels, marketing, content strategy, operations, and in general, building everything, who can also double as a head of sales and speak to all the leads until lead flow gets too large and you need to hire a separate head of sales and multiple salesmen. A designer making all graphics, images, and thumbnails for websites and social media. This designer or a different one should also be able to make good websites on Webflow, Framer, or another website builder as well. Along from editor, to edit all of your YouTube videos and VSLs. This person can sometimes also double as a short-form editor until you need some more short-form editors in order to scale with short-form content on multiple accounts. A developer who handles all of your tech needs, automate things, builds software, and protects your operation cybersecurity, which is super underrated because you will come under attack the bigger that you get. And finally, one or as many salesmen as you need in order to speak to all the leads and collect all of the money. That's all you need. Anything more than this is clunky and unnecessary. Even a film team isn't required until you're pushing lots of content consistently at a high quality. Because before that, an iPhone with a good lighting setup and a sidekick to film you is more than enough, because who you are on camera is the most important thing anyways. This is who you should hire, but how do you hire your A players now? The easiest way to hire people is going to be from your existing audience, from your personal brand. More than just having a personal brand in order to sell more and increase your influence, you also attract top-tier talent with your personal brand that you probably wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. And the beauty of hiring from your audience is that it will be people who are already super fans. They love your brand, agree with your values, and are completely bought into who you are. These are the best people because they will look up to you, be loyal, and be looking to prove themselves to you as well. This is ideal because if you were forced to choose between someone who was a super fan and someone who was not a super fan but only slightly more competent, you should probably hire the super fan. Train them up to be an A player, which I will show you how to do in a second, because that is much easier to do than to inspire an A player who doesn't care about you to dedicate himself to your operation. You will also get along better with the super fan. Obviously, they are a super fan because they have shared values with you. But above and beyond all, they will be the most loyal. And this is king in any business or any personal relationship for that matter, because at the end of the day, you're still working with people. Now, if you don't have a huge personal brand, this doesn't mean that you're out of luck. You'll simply have to tap into your existing network for loyal and competent people to join your operation. Go online, message some people, you'll find someone. And if you still don't have anyone, then you should really be focusing on increasing your value instead of hiring, because the more valuable you are, the more you will naturally have loyal and competent people in your life. Now, in terms of the hiring process and what questions you should ask people, these are the two most important questions to ask. Why do you want to work for us? And if money wasn't an issue and you had complete freedom to do whatever you wanted, what would you do every single day? The first question is to gauge how bought in they are already. They're obviously not going to be 100% bought in from the start, but they should be at a good level already, and read their language to spot the potential for them to commit more to your operation. You should also read their language to be on the lookout for if they're too much of a leader or entrepreneur. If they say things like, revolutionize your operation, you want to be wary because they will try and take more and more power until they eventually either quit and run their own thing, or they cause problems inside your operation because they want things to run their way. Whether you want that is up to you. There are scenarios where you need some stronger leaders under you who can one day be upgraded to partners, but in most cases, this is not what you want. The next question to find out is if they're going to quit on you in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, or however long it takes for them to find what they were looking for from your position. If they're after only money, then once they become too rich from your position, they will begin to slack off and go live more of the life that they wanted. You want people who have aspirations for greatness in their careers, irrespective of the money they will earn. Okay, so let's say you have the perfect candidate, an A player, or someone with great potential to become an A player. If you have an A player, great, keep watching and we'll tell you how to incentivize and motivate them. If you have someone with great potential to become an A player, here is how you turn them into an A player. More than just having the skills for the job, which is assumed, A players become A players to pressure. They rose to the occasion, internalized the mindset, and made it their modus operandi. How you do this is you throw them into the fire and force them to perform within your operation, but you also give them a mentor so that they don't feel totally overwhelmed. They don't even have to be in the same sector as them, but it is greatly preferred. This is someone that they can confide in, who is already an A player and can help more intimately instill them with the mindset required. But this does not mean that they have a free pass for underperforming or fuck it up. You still need to implement a strict cutoff system because A players do not fuck up in a big way more than 2 or 3 times. First time it happens, you can talk about it, learn from it, and move on. The second time it happens is usually grounds for getting fired unless they really have great potential and made a genuine mistake. The third time, there is no going back. They're gone. Now let's talk about how to incentivize and motivate your A players. You have to lead from the front. Hiring a team of A players does not mean that you can now sit back and let them do all of the work. It's quite the opposite. You now have to work harder than ever before to outperform all of your A players, because they will only be incentivized to work hard if they see you working harder than all of them and leading from the front. World champion work ethic is required, but you must also have the Midas touch. The Midas touch is that X factor. It's that feeling of electricity and industriousness that you inspire inside of others when you're a man on a mission. It's that feeling of warmth and trust that you make others feel with only a sincere gaze. and heart-to-heart conversation. I call it the Midas touch because all it takes is your presence for a short amount of time with any member of your company in order to induce this effect and propel those affected individuals powerfully forward for a good amount of time until the effect wears off. We felt it firsthand with Tate. He didn't speak a whole word to the team all day, but when he did, it was powerful. He would inspire lower level workers to work harder than ever before to prove themselves to him, and as a result, the whole operation benefited. He single-handedly kept morale high in every single member of the operation by sometimes only speaking to them once a month for a few minutes. But that was enough. You need to develop this Midas touch within yourself because at the end of the day, even if you have a team of Aplayers, they are still humans and they must be incentivized and inspired. Now, that's the human element, and it's obviously the most important one, but your team must also be monetarily incentivized. Aplayers love to perform. So a commission-based structure works best, but it really depends on what kind of role they fit within your company. If they're a salesman, then obviously commission works best. But if they are a designer or a developer, where it's harder to quantify the direct ROI of the work that they do, then the salary would be a better fit. Overall, you want to reward people with commission and revenue share upside when they have demonstrated that they are 100% bought into the operation, move the needle for your business, and are there for the long term. They need to prove that they will work not only for the money, but for the status and the glory that comes from building something amazing. They need to prove their loyalty over time as well. The journey to get to this point should be one that you inspire all of your Aplayers to follow. They should dream of contributing so much that they can get a stake in your company because they're simply that valuable. You should also progressively give them more and more responsibilities over time. Now, you might think that this is counterintuitive. You might think, wouldn't giving someone more work make them resent me? Wrong. This is only true for C players on a low fixed salary who are only completing their tasks and nothing more. A players love work. They want to get the chance to prove themselves. More work does not breed resentment, it breeds ambition. So now let's talk about how to manage your Aplayers for longevity. You don't need a complicated system to manage your team. We literally built a 9-figures business using just Telegram chats, WhatsApp, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Apple Notes. That's it. Of course, designers and editors are going to need other tools, but universally, these are the tools we use to manage a team and keep everything in order. Notice how I don't mention Zoom or Google Meets? That's because we rarely, if ever, needed to hop on calls. And if we did call, it was just on WhatsApp for emergencies whenever we needed, which again was very rare. So then naturally, most of your communication will happen in Telegram chats. So how should you structure your Telegram chats? Well, you should have different group chats for the different sectors of your business. A group chat for YouTube, a group chat for the editors, a group chat for the salesmen, a group chat for the designers, a group chat for every aspect. This is obvious, but what's not so obvious is that you need some group chats that are totally unrelated to work. You need a group chat where people check in and post their progress on things outside of work, such as they met a hot girl and went on a date, or if they completed a good workout, or if they had a nice family dinner and spent great time with family. You also need a group chat where people just talk shit about anything. Pure brain rot nonsense, TikTok garbage. You need one like that. Because listen, these people who are in your company need to get along with each other as people. They don't have to be best friends, but they should be on good terms with each other and have a sense of camaraderie. Now, this isn't to say that you should let people waste time all day. The priority is still work and getting things done, and you should still deal with people's egos and emotions individually. Or your directors of your different sectors should do the same. How you do this practically is, for example, praising people in public when they do good things, but not too much, depending on the person, because while one person will be appreciated and motivated to keep working because of this praise, another person will get overconfident and cocky and either produce less good work in the coming days and weeks or fuck up in some way because of their arrogance. I've seen this happen countless times. Now, another example is that you should criticize people in private generally, but there is also a time and place to criticize people in public so that they learn the lesson, feel shame, and are inspired to do better next time. Nobody tells you this. Again, it depends on the personality of the person that you are dealing with. It's imperative that if you want to successfully manage a team's egos and emotions, that you must have mastered yourself first and learn how to deal with people in life in general. Learning this is a long process of self-discovery that requires experiences with both men and women alike from different races, creeds, nationalities, and religions. I won't go into too much depth as to this actual process, but let's just say that if you're not a master with people, you will never master a team of Aplayers. Another thing to keep in mind is that while managing your team is that no matter how much trust and rapport you have built with your team, they will always hide things from you. Even minor things so that they don't look bad in front of you and others. So what you do as a smart leader is you build safeguards. All calls are recorded, every piece of marketing, quality controlled, and further, you form personal connections with everyone. Or your directors do this within their sectors, so you can get insider information on how people are really feeling about company decisions and other things. This way, there is nowhere to hide. And if you find people hiding things in a big way, you can address it quickly. And you can also spot which people work 100% honestly with nothing to hide, which is extremely rare. Never believe anyone who tells you your workers are going to be 100% honest with you 100% of the time. People have emotions, fears, aspirations, which can twist their perceptions of judgment, even the very best ones. So you should be prepared for all scenarios. Finally, you should host real-life meetings semi-often throughout the year. Even though your team is 99% of the time fully remote, working from their desks, they're still humans who need a real-life human connection to the people that they work with. The meetings will usually be for work projects, but they can also be strictly for leisure. For example, I flew my team out to the French mountains and we got a lot of work done. Or we flew to Dubai to a house in Nepal to also lock in on work. Or sometimes I take my team out to the club or other activities to have a good time and not think about work at all. And that's it. This has been my guide on how to run a team of Aplayers fully remotely based on my experience running a team of over 40 Aplayers and generating over $149 million. You can now take these things, implement them into your own online business to find the very best talent and keep them producing for you for years to come. If only it were that easy, right? Have you ever successfully managed a team of 40 Aplayers? I'm sure most of you haven't, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can definitely take the things in this video and have some success implementing it, but the specific details of how this is all executed for your business is going to be different for everyone. You can either try to figure it all out on your own, or receive expert guidance and implement proven frameworks and systems so you can build your own team of Aplayers so you can scale your brand or business to 8 figures and beyond. Which one are you going to choose? If you choose the latter, then I invite you to apply for a call to join Cloud Profit Academy. Cloud Profit Academy is the world's #1 transformation program for creators and marketers to scale their operations to 8 figures and beyond. An application call with us is not like any regular application call. An application call with us gives you a clear roadmap on exactly how to identify and solve roadblocks and blind spots in your brand or business holding you back from scaling your operation to 8 figures and beyond. Regardless if you end up joining or not, our promise to you is we leave you 10 times better than we found you. So go ahead and visit cloudprofit.com, link in the description, watch the free presentation we have there, explaining how you can scale your brand or business to 8 figures and beyond using the Tate secrets. Apply for an application call, and hopefully you and I will be speaking soon. That's all for today. Implement the things in this video, sign up to our free Telegram channel and email list linked below for more free sauce, and go conquer Earth with your team of Aplayers. Hasta la vista.